Right, David. So, can you tell me a little bit about your head injury then? What happened when you had your head injury?
Yeah, well, was playing 11-a-side football for my team, and I went up for a header, and unfortunately the centre half went up for a header as well, and we both just clashed heads. I went straight down. I was out for around 30 seconds. I woke up and just being like, what's going on, sort of thing. Chipped my tooth. So it was a bit brutal, some would say, but.
Okay, so how did you feel immediately after that?
Confused. I didn't really. I can't remember the incident really. All I just remember is waking up, asking questions like, have I got my teeth? Is my face alright? These sort of things.
Okay, and then what treatment did you have for your concussion immediately after?
Well, the physio came running on straight away. Both physios from both teams tried to get me upright, and then they done just a couple of tests with like my finger and like reactions and stuff. Took me to the side, and then they just made a decision that no, it's concussion, everything sort of matching up, and best for you to come off the pitch.
Okay, and then where did you go from there? What was your next sort of treatment?
I went to, they took me into the changing room just to sit back, and just try and take things in, and I wasn't allowed to drive home, just had to sit patiently. So they were quite good about it, and they did take care. But yeah, that's.
Okay, so from your perspective, I mean, how did you feel for days and weeks after the concussion? What sort of things were you going through?
Yeah, so the days after, I mean, just headaches. I did go into the hospital straight after as well, and yeah, they said it looks like it's a concussion, so you just have to sort of rest up for a few days, which I did. But my head was sort of pounding constantly. Concentration levels were not there. I sort of felt like I was there and I wasn't there in many aspects. Like I just didn't really know what was going on. As I said, couldn't concentrate, couldn't sort of put my mind to anything.
And what were some of the things that frustrated you the most, do you think?
Just these sort of things were like a day to day before I was able to just go around and sort of I knew what I was doing, and I felt good as well. And I could do loads of things. I could put my mind to things, but after that, I just sort of felt like I was in and out of a daze, and it wasn't the best experience.
Okay. And was there anything that you went through that surprised you in terms of how you felt after the concussion?
A little bit, yeah, because I think with concussion, you can think that you're okay, but you're actually not as well. So, especially for the first few days, I knew you need to rest up. But then after that, you start feeling a little bit better. And then that's when it's hard to judge whether you're recovered or not, because it's a head injury, you can't physically see it. I felt that I was okay to go back to work, and I was okay to maybe start training, but in reality I wasn't, because I remember I went back to train once, came off, and I just knew that I'm not ready, and that was after the 10 days anyway. But yeah, okay. And then obviously contacted you.
When did you start to know that you were recovering?
I'm probably going to say I just felt happier. It's weird, maybe that's a weird one, but sort of just constantly felt down before, and there was no real reason for it. I was lethargic and didn't have much get up and go, and then when I started improving, well I felt anyway, my concentration was back, just felt better with waking up in the morning, going to work, these sort of things, and then I just sort of knew that, I think. And this was probably after 3 weeks as well, so it wasn't quick for me. But then after the 3 weeks, I just sort of felt better in general. At my university, I could concentrate. I could do my studying a lot better than say the 3 weeks prior. So yeah.
Yeah. And how long in total were you out for? How long was it before you got back to playing again?
I think I was about a month, just over a month. Yeah. Which I didn't think at the time it was going to be that long, but when you still have these sort of little symptoms, it's best to get them checked and find out what could still be going on that you might not know. So if I didn't have, say, your help or the guys at my football team's help that knew a little bit more than me, I probably would have rushed back to things, and then that could have made it even worse in the long term. So I think I did recover well and fully. So yeah.
Good. And how did it feel when you made your comeback?
Ah, it was nice. It was nice. It was good to get on the pitch again. But again, you know that it's a little bit frustrating at times, because you've missed, say, a month, and in that month, and especially if you're not feeling the happiest, you can go to other things like binge eating and eating things that probably aren't the best for you. And when you're not training, you end up putting on weight. So when you come back, you're glad to be back and you want to push yourself again, but you still know that mentally that you've had a month off. So how am I going to find the old me sort of thing and get myself back in the team, or prove that I'm good enough to be there, sort of thing, you know.
Okay. And so, through all this process, how have your experiences made you feel about concussion? What are your thoughts towards concussion now that you may not have had before the injury?
It's definitely opened my eyes to concussion. Now that I have a little bit more information on it, I think it's very important that more people find out about concussion and the implications it can have sort of going on, and like if you don't manage it well, you run the risk of doing further damage to yourself, and you just got to be very careful with it, I think.
Okay. And have you got any advice for the physiotherapists that are here in Denmark watching this video today when it comes to managing concussion with their players and athletes?
Yeah, I think again just be informed. I'm sure they will be, but when it comes to head injuries, they have to definitely be taken serious, because it can really affect the person, the injury itself, and just mentally as well. So if you can offer support and guidance to someone who's had a head knock or concussion, yeah, I think it'll go a long way.
Thank you.
Cool.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, I think they'll just trim that down to about 2